That might have made it even a little bit better.
But you were parked though, right?
No, I was leaving school to pick up a basketball player because we had a game on Friday, which I was supposed to coach at 3. At 1:30, I left campus because I'm supposed to go pick up the Granger players. And the night before, they asked me to pick her up. Lucky me. I left, as I'm leaving campus, I was driving out of, you know where I parked by the tennis courts?
Yeah.
Driving out of the tennis court, someone parked on the right side and decided to do a U-turn from the side into my car.
So it was their car.
Yes. But they didn't have a license.
So like insurance?
No, they had insurance, but they asked me if I wanted to press charges, which I didn't really feel like I should because it's kind of against everything I believe in. Since a kid drove himself to school, I kind of felt guilty if I arrested him. So the cops from school came, and then of course every kid walked by me as my car was being towed, which was really fun as well.
I didn't see that.
It's like, Miss Griggs, huh? I'm like, I'm already pissed off because I don't have a car. Everyone's like, what happened? Hi, Miss Griggs. I'm like, I look like I want to say hi to you. Then as they're about to tow my car away, I realize, they're like, do you need anything from your car? And I'm like, no. And they go, and then I realize, I have the basketball jerseys. And it's like 2:30, and the girls are supposed to play at like 3, and I'm like, oh my God! And then I like get in the car, pull my little, I have a little like roll-away bag. I'm like jogging up to the basketball game as my car's being towed, and they're all like in there without jerseys, and they're like, what do we do? And I run in, and I'm like, here, and I like throw jerseys at them, and I like run back to my car.
So what
Miserable.
happened to the Granger kids?
Someone else, I called Huckabee and was like, Huckabee, I was going to pick up Yvonne, and now my car is smashed, and I can't pick up Yvonne, so someone needs to go get her. And I don't know if I can make it to the game because I don't have a car, and I don't know how I'm getting home, and I don't know. So she's like, it's fine, figure it out, we'll cover it for you. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't know what to do, so after all this, I'm all bummed, of course. And then I didn't have a car all weekend, so I got to sit at my house and think about the papers that I could be grading that were sitting on my desk that I couldn't get to because it didn't have a car.
Just take the trolley. Take the bus, the trolley and stuff.
Drive the trolley all the way down here just to get grades.
We had nothing better to do.
Nothing was better than nothing, trust me. So then I'm trying to figure out, obviously I'm all stressed out because I'm like, how am I going to get to work this week? I have to figure out how to get, like, I have to rent a car or have friends take me.
When did you have insurance pay?
Well, I'm dealing, well, don't get this on video. I'm going to do it without insurance. I'm dealing with it without insurance because she's basically going to pay me cash for my car to be fixed. Because she obviously is going to get in big trouble if she let her brother drive her car without a license. So I felt kind of bad, and I was like, okay. Anyway, so I don't have a car, and then I was calling Quintero yesterday to see if he could give me a ride at some point this week, because he's the only person that's like on the way from his house to work. So all my other friends live in like Chula Vista, and they're not going to drive up from Chula Vista, pick me up, and drive all the way back down to National City. So I called Quintero. I got a hold of Quintero, but he gets to leave tomorrow because his grandma-in-law, is that what you call them? Your grandma-in-law? Yeah, grandma-in-law died, so they get to fly to Texas tomorrow to go to her funeral on Wednesday. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, like, I'm worried about a car and your grandma-in-law's dead. So I felt really bad about that. So I was like, great, now I don't have a ride.
You should borrow his car.
I might, but I don't even think I need it now because as of today, so this morning I come to work, I'm all stressed out. I borrowed a car today, so I didn't need a car. I'm not going to be here after school today because I was borrowing a car, and then I get a text message saying, hey, can you cover basketball practice? Which I was like, I don't have a car, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, you guys can run practice yourselves, right? Yeah. And then, so then I'm like in my classroom, my friend Michael Garcia, who works in the library, you know Mr. Garcia? This morning I'm going to the office to make copies, and the library's closed. And I'm like, where the hell's Michael? Like, all these people are waiting outside the library, and I'm like, okay, he's not here. He's never not here. Like, he's always here. And he's here at like 6 in the morning. And I'm like, great, what happened to Michael? So I'm freaking out then. Quintero's telling me he's leaving tomorrow to go to Texas. In the office, he's like, I have to leave tomorrow to go to Texas. I'm like, okay, if you need me to, whatever. Like, do you need me to take care of your dog? I don't know, like, what do you want me to do? And then, so I called Mr. Garcia. I'm like, I don't know where you're at. It's probably your uncle because his uncle's really sick, you know. His uncle's like, has cancer. So I was like, it's probably your uncle, but I just want to make sure you're all right, so please give me a call back. I don't know where you're at. So I'm stressed out about him. Meanwhile, second period rolls around. You think it can't get worse, right? I'm all flustered in second period, and I'm telling him all this stuff like, oh my God, I don't know what day of the week it is. I'm so stressed out. I don't have a car. I'm stressed out about everything. As I'm telling this story, Big Eddie walks in. He's like, they need you in the office. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what now? And at first I think it's Michael, so I'm like, okay, crap, something was Michael. And then he's like, I don't know, they didn't tell me. They just said they needed you in the office. And I'm like, oh, so he stays with my class, and I walk up to the office. I get to the office, they're like, your sister's on the phone. And I'm like, great. So I get on the phone, and I'm like, yeah. My sister's crying on the phone, and she's like, my mom had 2 seizures last night. She's back in the hospital. They don't know why she's in the hospital. So my mom's back in the hospital. She's like, we need to fly home tonight. Ray's my stepdad. My stepdad just called her. He couldn't find my number. Called her, said that my mom's in the hospital sleeping. They don't know what's wrong with her. That we need to go home like today. So then I'm like, okay. We'll have 2 periods today. I'll leave after 4th period. I'll go buy plane tickets. I'll drop off my friend's car. I'm like stressed out. So then I'm in the office and I just start bawling. I'm like, "Ooh," like in the middle of the office. And all the office ladies are like, what happened? We're like, Mija, you know. Well, they are. And I'm like, ooh, I don't have a car. My mom's in the hospital. And I'm like bawling in the office. And they're all like, do you need to, and then go back. I'm like, do you need to leave? I'm like, I'm fine. I'll go back to my class. So I'm in there like, I'm okay. And they're like, don't go to class. I'm like, no, I have to go to class. Because pretty much if I go home, I'm just going to be bawling on a couch. So I might as well be in class where like I could at least keep my mind off things, which I thought was a good idea, but now my mind is so scatterbrained that like, I can't even think about stuff today. Like, I went to go stamp homework and I was like, what's today? They're like, the 12th. I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, it's the 12th. Then I'm trying to do the stupid stamp. I couldn't even find the 12th. I'm like, stamp was like the most complicated machine this morning. I couldn't even figure it out. And then like, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if I call sub? I don't know what my plans are for this week now. Like, because I had all my plans, you know. We're going to take a quiz, and we're going to learn this, and then I'll be here to tutor, and we'll do the retake. All that's out the window. I'm like, okay, what am I going to give them? I got to give them something to do. I'm all stressed out. And then I'm like, how about I just give you practice for the midterm? And they're like, midterm? And I was like, well, no, like, I'm not going to give you a midterm, but, oh. And then I was trying to explain the midterm. I was like, okay, so the midterm's going to be on this day. And I'm looking it up on my calendar. And I'm like, it's on chapter 7 and chapter 9. Chapter 7's on, what's chapter 7 on? I'm like, totally blanking, like, hey, what's chapter 7 on? And they're like, trig, I'm like, oh yeah, trig equations. Like, I couldn't even remember any of chapter 7 or any of what we're doing. Like, I'm all over the place. Like, I'm a mess. So here I am at school. I'm a mess. Yeah, exactly. Of course, all my students are like, just let's not teach anything for you, Miss Griggs. I know that excuse. But, so I honestly, at this point, don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. Don't know if I'm going to be here on Wednesday. I probably won't be here on Wednesday. I don't know. I think so. I have no idea. Like, at this point, I got off the phone with my sister, cried, got a bunch of Kleenex, came back and was like, ooh, to my second period class. And they're like, because that's what I told the office. I was like, great, I'm going to cry in every period. And they're like, because I'm the teacher that'll cry. Like, most teachers will be like, we're going to do work today, and go sit in the corner or something. And I'm like, my mom's in the hospital! And you guys are like, oh my God, you're crazy. Oh God. So, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So, I think, this is my plan, I think, for the time being. Right now I'm giving you this practice quiz, which lets you ask me questions now, since I probably won't be here for tutoring. I'm sure Mr. A will be here. He's always here, so you can go get help with him.